There are strange things out there that seem to have no explanation. Sometimes they are conjured up by the darkest corners of our subconscious, but on occasion they dwell beyond the confines of our imagination. They may come from another realm, or out of the sky, or from beyond the grave. Once they set foot into our world, the line between dreams and reality becomes unclear. It's our job to investigate these reports and compile the Virginia Paranormal case files.
The cabin was built by the Glenn family in 1838. It is on a plantation. They had slaves. I don't know exactly what they produced. I found out today that Archibald, I think it was Archibald Glenn, was a minister, a Presbyterian minister. But I know he had one wife and a few children, but they all passed away pretty early in life. But I don't know much more about it to it. We're in the oldest slave cabin, the only one that is still standing, has been built around it for through the years, but we're in the center of it where all the activity has been happening at. It escalated. It started very, very small. The first time I noticed it, because I work a lot, so paying attention to things and dates and times is kind of mixes together for me. But the first time I truly paid attention to it was when I put my Christmas tree up in December. And my Christmas tree was a tabletop tree, and my dog, Jasper, my blind and deaf dog, I would lay down on the couch quite frequently. I don't watch TV or anything. I watch videos, but I just started watching videos a couple months ago. So when I came home from work tired, the first thing I do would walk them in and lay down on the couch and turn the lights on the tree. And it was about the middle part of December, the first or middle part of December, when I noticed that Jasper would go over to this chair over here, and which I called the cat's chair because the cat always slept in it, and started just getting down and looking like he saw something, and he would follow his head around the room, and then he would make little yells, little dog noises like woof woof, and like playful noises, and he would put his paw out and he would sniff at it, and he would just cock his head back and forth. And I am open to these things. These things are occurrence has been happening in my life through the years. I just thought maybe it was a little woodland creature. He in January he started doing it even more so, and following it around the room and going up the stairs following it, but I never put it together. And then he would frighten very easily and not want to come in the room and play, and that just like kind of like snowballed. It started very slow, and then it would go to the point where he wouldn't come in the room on his own to get his toys. He needed more trazodone to sedate him and calm him down. He would bark in the middle of the night, just like start hollering and yelping and barking. And then it would get Noah going, my little dog. And so that's when I started taking notice of these things. Dan, a couple weeks ago, about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would always lay on the couch. He started to nudge me really, really hard, and it was like kind of like a build up of pressure, like in the air. It's like kind of like where he would be bound and determined to get me up from where I was. He would nip at me. He would go around to the back of the couch at me. He would just try to like roll me off the couch. Then all of a sudden he jumped up on the couch and put all his paws on me and started growling and barking at the wall behind me, ferociously, and then nipping in the air and just was following it with his eyes. And he was like he was having a fight, and he was protecting me. Like that's why he put his paws on me. That was the first time when I really truly realized that I had a problem. Like I never took it into account with the problem that I had back in December that kind of was mounting would mount to that. It was always at my moment of rest when this would occur, like when I was most vulnerable, at my most vulnerable moment, when I was like overtired. And so I had another incident happen a week and a half ago, where Jasper did the same thing and was ferocious. And this time I had looked up some verses in the Bible and said the verses, the biblical verses, and said prayers out loud, which only seemed like it agitated whatever this entity was. I would have my candles flare up. It went into the kitchen and Jasper got it cornered. And it was on the floor next to the icebox. And Jasper seemed to have like full control of it. It seemed, the feeling that I got from it when it came into the kitchen was like a fear, like it wanted to leave the house. That was the feeling that I got from it. It was the first time I was able to tap into it and put my finger on and feel it too. All along, I haven't been able to feel its presence. Jasper's been the one that's been alerting me to it and letting me know it's here. You better move fast.
I feel like I've seen art that looks like that. I'm an artist, so I pay attention to different people's styles, and I feel like that's kind of a style that I've seen before. But there's a darkness in that.
Yeah,
There is something a little bit dark about it. She picked up this picture at the Goodwill, and this was one that she felt sort of drawn to. She said she's not one of those people that tends to bring home things secondhand too often, but if she feels strongly about something, she'll bring it into the house. This particular picture, I feel like I've seen the style of artwork before. Because I am an artist, I pay close attention to other people's styles, but there is something very dark about it. And it seems like a typical portrait, perhaps of some, colonial era aristocrat with the curls of white and everything, but there is something very dark about the way that it was designed. Perhaps it's the bulging eyes and the sort of bags and darkness around the eyes. The person almost looks sad or depressed or upset, and I wonder if that may be some of the artist's energy itself coming through the artwork. And I do notice it has a little bit of a sheen to it, a little bit of glossiness, so I'm imagining it is some sort of print, perhaps even from a magazine or a poster of some sort, but I don't know, it's just, it's sort of a strange piece of artwork.
What's in here?
Oh, that's my closet that whatever it was kept opening too. I'd come home and it would
nudged me hard.
Who?
The dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like he didn't want you to go in there, kind
Yeah.
of a nudge?
Yeah, he does that to me too.
Pushed the bottom part of my leg.
Oh, the electric box. That's what we're getting. That's
Oh,
what we're
that's
getting
what
for
we're
the
getting?
EMF.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But I've
that.
come home many times at night and it's been open. And see, you've got
it wooded down.
I got it wooded down, yeah.
But you,
Yeah,
what was
and-
also interesting to me was you had your door pulled with that bungee.
Mhm.
The dogs would not be able to necessarily get it off. He might with his teeth, but they wouldn't be able to lay it in a
I was
folded
laid a nice
fashion.
little
Yeah,
curl
that
of
was
Not
fashion.
very. It's not a very like I'm tapping on it here, and it's not a very like. It doesn't go down easy. It's not like it's just gonna fall out of place.
He would
Nah.
not, unless he's feeling that whatever's agitating him is coming from that
He
area.
always nudges me, like when I had the door open most of the day today because the vacuum cleaner's in there. Most of the morning I was cleaning. He was like hitting me, headbutting me and everything, yeah.
He don't like this area. He's pacing
he
back and
don't.
forth. But the electric box is in there, so you really can't tell what he don't like about that area.
Right.
No, this is my bedroom.
Maybe he's sensitive to the EMF.
Could be.
I'm not sure if dogs can be sensitive to that, but it'll be interesting. That's for
Well,
sure.
it's up at
Still
a little
the
above the 1.5. right
it'll still
here.
be the electric box all the way around the wall
Still
here.
over here.
Now he has, in the middle of the night, broken out of his cage and immediately came and got me and did the same thing, headbutting me and nudging me, get up, kind of like, put up,
Cage
Mom.
is almost right near the door.
Yeah. And right here is where he had cornered it, right at the refrigerator door. He had cornered it.
So we finished up with the baseline sweep, and we took note of the high levels. One thing that's interesting is there was a high level over here, which was, of course, the power box, the fuse box. But it's also the same area where the dog, one of the areas where the dog kind of acts up. This high level that's over there could give spirits energy. It's kind of like a battery, it kind of charges them. At least that's what the theory is. So it could give them the ability that they need to manifest there. And I've never found anything that said dogs could actually pick up on EMF levels or sense them in any way. They could affect dogs, I'm sure, just like they affect humans. That could be one of the reasons, or it could be giving something the ability to manifest. So maybe we should start right here in the living room, break out the spirit box, and see if we get any responses. Because this is such close proximity to the kitchen, right there where he cornered an unseen entity, and right here by this closet where he interacts with something. So if there's anything in this general vicinity, we should be able to pick it up.
So my name is Linda,
My name is Tanya.
I'm Jeff.
and we are not here to harm you. We simply want to know who you are. Can you try to tell us your name?
Can you tell us how many are here with us right now? There's 4 of us. Aside from us, who else is here? Did you used to live in this cabin before Barbara moved in?
Did you perhaps live over in the house, the main house?
Can you tell us the last name of the person who owned this land?
It's got that dizzy feeling. Again, kind of came on suddenly.
Is there anything in this room or in this cabin that you're attached to?
That sounded like the same thing, stay or...
Day?
Day?
Something like that. Definitely had an AY. I'll ask again, if you did try to answer us, we perhaps didn't hear. Is there something in this cabin that you're attached to? Something that belongs to you? Let's do just a little bit of a rolling spirit box session
Okay,
around here.
all right,
We'll get up, we'll walk with this,
yeah.
and see if there's anything. I'll take that recorder there, and that way we can hold that as
This
well.
light, would that be sensitive to anything in the room? line or?
Oh yeah, that shouldn't go off unless there's something there that wasn't there during the baseline.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if we got a spike in the middle of the kitchen with it, we know there's something there because it didn't spike when we went through initially.
So we should leave it there and
Yeah.
We can leave it, we can take it, it's up to you.
if you're here in this room with us, can you turn that light out? It's a little box on the floor. Can you turn that light out?
I'm gonna walk around this house. I'm gonna walk around this cabin. And if there's something that I come near that you want us to see, just tell me to stop. We know there's some interesting pictures hanging up here on the wall. Are you drawn to that picture? Did that picture belong to you? How do you feel about Barbara? Another thing that's interesting is these candles. They have given off more lumens than they naturally would. They got really bright and then went back down.
Oh, wow.
So, and they're electric. They're electric, so it's not like...
They have an on when that happens already?
They come on. They have a timer on them.
Yeah, so they're naturally on and they
Yeah.
just... But they get really bright.
Yeah, like bright, like real. That one especially.
Like something supercharging it.
Like yeah.
Yeah.
It's also near the entry.
Do you like to play with these candles? If you want to, use the batteries in this equipment. Preferably not the voice recorder though, because that one's already kind of low. Do you live in this cabin or do you come from somewhere else? Have you ever... Sounded kind of like a British accent, didn't it? Like wood?
It definitely
Like
sounded
wood?
like it had an accent. I wasn't going to say British.
I think a couple of interesting things from that spirit box, of course. It seemed very quiet when we were in the living room area. When we came into the kitchen, we started getting a little more coming through. And there was a voice that came through right off the bat that I said it sounded like he had a British accent. And you said the person who lived in this plantation house years ago back in the 1800s was Scottish. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting, because it's not every day around here that you would hear Scottish people on the radio.
Right.
Right? No, not at all. So definitely interesting. Now, Linda broke out this app right here.
I did.
And this is one that we've been experimenting with. And
Brandon?
what did you get on that app while you were looking at it? Anything?
So far, the only thing that has come through was the word Trace, T-R-A-C-E, and then Brandon, B-R-A-N-D-O-N, as in a man's name. So I'm not exactly sure what that means, if it could mean anything. Perhaps it's just word bank words that are popping up, but the little spiky bars, they haven't gone up into the red yet, so, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure what the spiky bars mean anyways, but, you know, I think it's just visually dazzling for people.
I received mail last week in the mailbox. There was a Brandon that did live here.
Oh.
It was, oh gosh, I don't remember his last name. I put RTS on it.
Yeah.
I just sent it back to the mail thing. But the first name was Brandon, and the reason why I remember that is because my nephew's name is Brandon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you do have ties to the word Brandon.
yeah.
That's kind of interesting because of all the names it could have pulled up. It pulled up one from her nephew and somebody who used to live here.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, and considering the high turnover rate of people through this cabin, she said that nobody seems to live here for very long. And when she receives mail from multiple different people who used to live here. That's maybe somewhat significant. I kind of wonder if something happened to this Brandon, or that, you know, not necessarily death, but something happened to him in this cabin that was a little bit traumatizing or something.
One thing I'd like to point out with this app, in our experimenting with it, we don't put a whole lot of stock in apps. We don't really believe them until we see them in action and we see them actually giving us relevant responses. And even then, there's a number of, be they small maybe, coincidences that can happen where a related name or something can come through. But I would just like to state the statistics with this app so far. Last night, the first place we experimented with this app, it gave us the client's mother's name. Then the second place we experimented with the app, the girl that was holding it, it gave us her name. And now today, we get a name that is also related with the location.
Right.
I'm trying to look
Kind of
up-
interesting.
It was
Yes.
Grace.
Just something to note. It says above you. Is that fan squeaking?
No, that's her phone.
Oh, is it the
Apple,
phone
her
squeaking?
Oh,
phone. Yeah.
I thought it was the fan for a second.
Yeah,
It said above you, and I
Yeah.
looked up.
Above you is the
But it's
attic
odd that
space.
you asked me a
That
minute
is the
ago
attic.
about who was the Jasper here. Before he enters that living space that was the original slave
cabin.
dwelling,
Right.
he moves his head in such a fashion where he is seeing, but being that he's blind, he's not seeing, he's sensing something there, and he will not step through for moments before I guess he feels safe, or the sense that he's smelling is dissipated.
Right.
So he's very sensitive to this area across the threshold.
So does you've seen him, like, does he stop there
He'll
and look
stop
for a
right
minute or
here and
two,
move
or
his
kind
head
of
like this.
And he'll put his head like
He's
that.
moving
yeah.
his head
Huh.
and his
He's been
nose is
doing
in
that
the
for
air.
months.
Yeah.
His nose is in the air.
Yeah, so
and
he's
then he'll
checking
move
things out.
through. And being that he has no other senses, he wouldn't sense that unless he's sensitive to something.
Yes, that's true.
So if you want to go that way towards the chair, and let's just see what he does when he walks
He's
to that
standing
area, if he will. He's very protective of me in this room.
And this would have been the front of the cabin. This would have
Yes,
probably
this would
been
have
the...
been the front of the cabin. So let's see if he does it.
Now this thing says lights.
He didn't do it that time. He did look up, but he didn't do it like
But-
he did the other
But
time.
also she was in there this time
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean? So I wonder if
Yeah.
when she goes in there, it kind of disperses whatever presence is in there.
So
Could
why
be.
don't you come back in this room and see if he is hesitant before he goes in there.
Not sure he will go in there.
On his own.
Followed her out.
Yeah, see, it's amazing how he just, you know, how he follows you around. That's
He
that's
does.
awesome.
Can
you hold that for me?
Now the cat is up there. You might upset the cat.
Okay.
Hey, kitty, kitty, kitty. In my room.
No, she's
right there.
right up
Oh, she's
there.
right there.
So we're just pushing up these doors. Okay. So this is the attic.
Or the second floor.
Not quite the creepy attic I was expecting.
No, it's definitely not creepy. It's fairly blank in here. She just uses it for storage, like she said. It's, you know, she doesn't cool the place or anything, so it is pretty hot up here. But so far, it doesn't feel strange up here in any way. The one thing that kind of felt strange to me is where she's going right now, which is this doorway. Almost like the energy in there is a little bit different than the rest of the room.
Nothing in there? All right, I'm Jeff.
Linda? And Tanya?
And we don't mean to impose by any means. But downstairs, it seemed that someone might have wanted us to come up here. We're not sure. At least that's what one of our devices told us. Is there any reason that you want us to be up here?
Steps.
No.
Just say go.
That's what I thought it said, is go. Where do you want us to go?
Home.
That's what it sounded like. So is there something on this property that you want us to find?
After a thorough review of the pictures, video, and audio recordings from the investigation, no further evidence of paranormal activity was obtained. The resident participated in a self-deliverance, and since, all has seemed quiet at the little cabin.